I once found a piece of paper among Woody's many pieces of paper, and at the top of the page it said, "God blessed America," and was obviously a retort to Irving Berlin's omnipresent song, "God Bless America," which in 1940 dominated the country's airwaves and jukeboxes. Woody just landed in Manhattan after years of rambling across the country and meeting impoverished people affected by the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression. So he found Berlin's song to be naive and out of touch with the reality facing many Americans. So he set about writing a responsive challenge that reflected the conditions and circumstances of millions of fellow citizens. Each of Woody's verses ended in, "God blessed America for me." The song went, "As I went walking that ribbon of highway, God blessed America for me. I roamed and I rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. God blessed America for me. There was a great high wall there, which tried to stop me. A sign was painted that said private property." Isn't it great to rhyme property with "stop me"? But on the back side, it didn't say nothing. God blessed America for me. When the sun came shining and I was strolling, the wheat sheaves waving, the dust clouds rolling, the voice was chanting as the hog was lifting, God blessed America for me. One bright sunny morning, by the shadow of the steeple, by the relief office, I saw my people as they stood there hungry, stood there wondering if God blessed America for me. That's how Woody wrote the song in 1940. And somewhere in the next 8 years, he added a few more verses and created a new, more inclusive last line. "This land was made for you and me." There was a tiny recording company called Folkways, and in 1948, the man in charge of the company said, "Woody, you can only get 2.5 minutes of a song on one side of a record. We have to cut a few verses." And maybe that's why some of those original verses didn't get in the recording. However, it was still a good song, and up in New York, there was someone who worked for a big, huge publishing company that produced millions and millions of books for schools and said, "I think I'll put that song in this book." And kids loved it. And they'd sing it in school, and they'd go home and they'd sing it. 21 years later, everybody in America knew this song, although it had never been played on the radio, never sold in a single music store. It literally would have been unknown if it hadn't been for those kids. Kids made the song famous. Woody says, "This land is your land, this land is my land. This song is copyrighted in the USA under seal of copyright, paragraph 154085, for a period of 28 years. And anybody caught singing it without my permission will be a mighty good friend of mine, because I don't give a damn. Publish it, write it, sing it, swing to it, yodel it. I wrote it, and that's all I wanted to do. This land is your land, this land is my land."
You can't guess what song I'm going to sing. Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. And I roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps on the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. And all around me, God's voice was sounding, saying this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. And the sun came shining, and I was strolling with the wheat fields waiting, and dust clouds rolling, and the fog was lifting. A voice was chanting, saying this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, and the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. In the squares of the city, in the shadow of the steeple, by the relief office, I see my people as they stood there hungry. I stood there asking, is this land really made for you and me? This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Nobody living can never stop me as I go walking that freedom highway. Nobody living can make me turn around, 'cause this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land